What's up, guys? Welcome to my channel. My name is Cookie Miller. I am a certified personal trainer, a weight loss specialist, and I personally lost 100 pounds myself. And here on this channel, I just help you guys to help yourselves through your own personal weight loss journey. Today we are going to be discussing body composition. This is something that is very important to understand whenever you're initially setting out whatever it is your weight loss goal is or your fitness goal. You definitely want to understand body composition. So what is body composition? Well, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's what our bodies are composed or made up of. So that's going to be our body fat, our muscle mass, water, and also our bones. Today we're going to talk about what specifically makes up for our physique and how we look and aesthetics, and that's going to be our body fat and our muscle mass. So oftentimes when someone is just starting out on a fitness journey, especially someone who wants to be smaller, they definitely start off with a weight loss goal. And so usually that's something like, I want to lose 50 pounds, or I want to look the way that I did, when I was in high school or something like that. So usually people start off with those goals. Those are okay, but more importantly, something that we should think about is, how do I want to look overall? So I often tell my clients to either think about like a photo that they can reference of someone who may have a similar body type to them, and what they want themselves to look like at that point. Another thing you want to think about is, how do I want to feel versus how I feel right now? So maybe you always feel tired and you're always feeling lethargic and you're having a hard time getting around and just moving. For me, one thing that I remember whenever I was 100 pounds overweight is like, I couldn't cross my legs. And so literally one of my goals was like, I want to be able to comfortably cross my legs. So those are the types of things that you want to think about, in addition to thinking about the weight loss goal. So what types of things factor into this aesthetic look of body composition? Well, height is one of the major things, and I'm sure we've all seen this picture floating around where we got all these women who weigh somewhere around 150 pounds, and they're different heights, and you can see how the weight looks different on everyone. This is the reason why you don't want to just base your weight off of somebody that you've seen on Instagram or something, and you have no idea how tall they are or anything like that, and you're like, well, I want to be that weight because they're that weight. Well, a lot of things come into play whenever we're actually looking at someone. So weight is not going to look the same across every single person. We have to consider how we carry our weight individually. Do we carry weight in our stomach? Do we carry weight in our hips and thighs? Are we top heavy? Those are the things that you want to think about, because first of all, that is pretty much your base. You have to be realistic, in your goals. And so you don't want to think of, I want to transform my body to look like this or to look like that. And please do not let Instagram models who have had surgery fool you into believing that you can make your body look like whatever you want. Now, we can do a lot of things with building muscle and losing fat. However, let's be realistic here, okay? So, in addition to measuring your weight when you're on a fitness journey to become smaller, a good thing to also measure would be your body fat and your muscle mass. There are tons of scales out there, and I'll leave a link below to the one that I personally use, but there are tons of scales out there that do measure this for you. Are they accurate? Probably not. The most accurate way to actually get this percentage is to do it underwater. But the good thing is that it just gives you a starting point, and all you're looking for in general is a downward trend in your body fat and an upward trend in your muscle mass. So you're wanting to put on muscle and lose body fat. Another way that we want to measure is by taking pictures. Pictures tell a whole different story, okay? I have a ton of clients who are in my current program. They've been going for about 5 or 6 weeks, and some of them, maybe they've only lost like 5 pounds. But if you look at the pictures, you can see a tremendous difference in the shape of their bodies and how their bodies look. You can see that they're not carrying as much belly fat anymore. So that's definitely something you want to pay attention to. So even in some instances, especially when you're someone who does not have a major amount of weight to lose, there are instances where you could even be wearing the same size and just looking totally different in what it is that you're wearing. Of course, we can pay attention to the scale, okay? This comes in handy especially when you are obese and you have a ton of weight to lose. it becomes a little bit less and less handy as you get closer to your goal weight, because the changes are going to be happening in a ton of different places other than the scale. When there isn't that much weight to lose, there really isn't too much for us to measure in terms of weight. The other thing you want to do is you want to be taking measurements, okay? Now, you will notice that if you start to put on some muscle, the shape of your body is going to change. Maybe your thigh measurement, for example, might go up. It doesn't mean that it doesn't look aesthetically the way that you want it to look. So measurements are not necessarily something that you always want to go down. Usually the waist measurement, I can say, would be something that we want to see go down. But if we're getting a little bit of a wider measurement, like around our shoulders and everything, we're building up our back so that our waist can actually look smaller. So pay attention to what you're seeing in the mirror. Pay attention to what you're seeing on your photos. And with your measurements, I would say the most important one would be that waist measurement that you probably do want to see going down. So now let's talk about how we do this. How do we accomplish this? How do we get the body composition that we want? Well, you want to be putting on lean muscle. We put on lean muscle by intaking enough protein. The general recommendation or rule of thumb is 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, okay? This is a little bit tricky because when you get to a certain point where you are at the obese level, then at that point you want to consider your lean body mass. So then this is why it's good to have a scale that does measure that. So then that way you can take away your body fat and then just go based on your lean body mass, and then use that to use the 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of lean body mass. If you're already at a healthy weight, then you just want to use your current weight for that. The next tip that I want to give is it is usually very difficult to hit a protein goal if you've been eating a very low amount of protein. And so what I would say is, instead of just jumping up to that 0.8 or that 1 gram per pound, it's best for you to start at maybe even half of a gram per pound of body weight, so that you can at least get accustomed to taking in a good amount of protein, and then slowly just work your way up. Remember guys, you do not have to dive completely into something head first and just go. It's always best to just kind of ease your way into things and work your way up. Now, to complement that protein intake, you're going to have to be doing some type of resistance training. That does not necessarily mean you have to lift super heavy weights. Especially if you're just starting out, you can definitely use body weight, and that is going to give you something that we like to call beginner gains. And so your body is so not used to actually lifting weight or actually doing resistance training that you're actually going to see some muscle growth just from doing body weight exercises. So you can always start with that. The next thing that you want to do is progressive overloading. That means that you want to progressively create higher resistance. So that means lifting heavier weights, or that also means increasing the repetitions in which you do per set. So for example, if you are doing something like 8 reps or 4 sets of 8, then you might change and do 4 sets of 10, and then 4 sets of 12, and then 4 sets of 15, and then even increasing your set numbers. But the point is, you're trying to increase that time under tension within the muscle. You can also progressive overload by increasing the amount of weight that you're lifting. And so you usually want to go with like no more than like a 5%, even 10% increase, because we don't want to have any type of major injuries. But you just want to slowly do an increase every week or so that your body is getting stronger and you're able to build more muscle. The next thing is that you want to make sure that you're giving your body adequate rest in between those lifting sessions. So again, you don't want to dive head into something and just go super hard on just lift every single day. What you want to do is make sure that you're splitting your body parts up. Some people like to do a bodybuilding type of split where you're kind of doing like 2 to 3 different muscle groups per day within maybe 5 days per week. Or you can make it very simple and just have an upper body day and a lower body day. And then from there, you can just make sure that you're giving yourself and your body some adequate rest in between those sessions. Now, in order for all of that to work, you have to be sure that you're fueling yourself properly, and you have to be sure that you are eating enough but not overeating, because it is possible, despite some of the information that is out there, to build muscle simultaneously while losing fat. You do not have to go through a bulking season and a cutting season and things like that. You can do both. You just need to be sure that you're taking in enough protein to actually feed your muscles so that they will grow. So let's just go over that really quickly. You want to make sure that in order to change your body composition, what are we doing? We are making sure that we're lifting enough. We're making sure that we're giving our body progressive overload. We're making sure that we're eating enough protein. And then at the same time, we're also being sure that we're well rested. We're being sure that we are tracking in multiple ways how our clothes fit, taking measurements, taking pictures, and not solely relying on the scale. I'm going to leave a link below that is going to be to all of the different type of tools that I actually use day to day and that I recommend to my clients for actually tracking and measuring this so that they can get the results that they want, because I want you guys to get the results that you want too. And of course, if you guys ever want to train with me, you can go to cookiemiller.com/apply. I am accepting new clients for my online program, so you're definitely welcome to apply for that. I hope that this video has been helpful. Leave a comment below. Let me know something that you do to track your progress and how you've been doing this year. Tell me how your year has been going. Tell me what your goals are for next year. I am so excited to hear from you guys, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.